Hello everyone, it's Della DuLac. Today we are going to do some masculine cards with the well-suited dies that are in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. They are right here. These are fabulous. You can use them with just about any printed DSP paper that you want. This one here, I've got a few pieces of DSP here. This is some of the old from the last catalog that is called Well Suited, that was wonderful with this suit and tie dies. So we've got some of this, and they're all, I'll show you all the little pieces that I have right here. So this is the lapel. That's this piece right here, this big one, and then of course you can cut out some pockets. And this little skinny V here is what you would cut out for your jacket. And then you could layer them on, if I can get a hold of it. So then you layer it up. And you can also take your die and go this direction, so your little pinstriping is going a different way, so it shows up a little bit better if you do that. This one I just offset my stripes just a little bit because I wanted my stripes to go the same way. And then when you put them on and put them up with a card like this, I just kind of bent those corners up just a little bit, and it shows up a little more. You can also put some dimensionals underneath, like this one here. I put a dimensional under both sides here and on the collar, and a little bit here on the tie piece here, and I popped up the whole pocket here. So for this one here, I did not use any dimensionals. Everything is glued straight down to the card, except I just bent up those little corners just a little bit. So you can see how different you can get with that. So this particular paper was very hard to see, but adding some dimensionals under there and having the pocket up gives you a little bit of a shadow, so it shows up much nicer. So for these pieces, you can cut out all your little ties. So you've got one whole piece here, and then you can cut out this one right here is for your little knot, and then you would layer them up. But I have just little tips here, and if you're using up a lot of your scraps and your tie doesn't quite fit, so this one here, it cut off some of my tie, but since you're going to layer that on top of it anyway, it really doesn't matter. And especially if you're going to put your ties in a jacket like this, and if you cut through a scrap piece of paper and it doesn't quite get it, as long as you have the main pieces that are going to show, it really doesn't matter, and you can utilize all of your scraps for your cards. I do that all the time. So these right here are for your little suspender pieces. You've got your cute little, can you see? There we go. There's a little bit of definition on there, and I just did those in gray, but you could use those in a silver paper. On these cards, I did those on the inside. So when you open your card, you've got fun little red suspenders on the inside. I did that one to here too. Very cute. Kind of fun. You know me, I like to put those little touches on the inside of the cards. And so this is a great little piece right here. It will cut out 6 buttons all at the same time. So you can run that through and get a whole bunch of these tiny little buttons. I just did a whole bunch of black ones. And then this piece here was for the suspenders, and you've got 2 pieces for your tie, the bow ties. I'm going to show you some more of my samples that I've done up right now. Of course, we have to do a fun little tuxedo. So for these 2 tie pieces, I layered them up here with some dimensionals underneath. And the suspender piece I did in white, so you can get that little bit of definition on the shirt. And for your little pocket squares, you can use this piece right here for the collar. You can use this and then take them apart and use your, just kind of have little bits and pieces of it poking up through the top of your pocket, or you can just use little tiny corner pieces from all your scraps to match your tie, like I did on, where'd he go? On this one. So I just took some little scrap pieces from the rest of my paper to whatever matched my tie, and then that's what I used in my pocket squares. This one I just used little scraps of white, and this one is just the skinny bow tie, and the little oval piece right here for the knot. This one's really cute. It's I did a little bit of, let me see it, there we go. I ran that through the embossing folder and gave this some suspenders. And this is just a white card base, so I just did that front. And then I cut out a little piece right there. I didn't do anything on the inside yet. I think maybe I'll just stamp a nice big happy birthday or something on the inside. This one is a fun little shirt card. So this one I did these pieces in a solid color so they would stand out more. And then when you've got a whole bunch of ties left over when you're cutting them, you can just put those on a card. You don't have to do a whole suit. And then I just took a little scrap of one of those papers to put on the inside. Makes a really great card. And then when you cut out all of your pieces, all the triangle pieces from here, you're going to have a bunch of these left over. And you can use pieces of this, of course, for all of your other little elements, but I have a ton of these left over, so I thought I would add them to a card. I've seen some of my other demonstrator friends doing similar things, so I put together a few different little combinations, and of course you've got the two-sided papers, so you can pick which side of those you want. And I just took my white piece of paper, my cardstock that I cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and then I layered those on. I just kind of played with them until I got them how I wanted, and just kind of see how I wanted the spacing, and then I glued them down and just trimmed that off the edge that stuck out. Super quick and easy, fun little card to do. And again, I just took a little scrap to put on the inside, a couple of those scraps to put on the inside of the card. Really fun. One fun way to use up some of those. So I'm going to move a few of these things out of the way, and I will show you how I assembled one of these suit cards. Scoot all those over. Got all my pieces here. And so from this paper pack, I used this one right here. So this was beautiful. I love this one. This is the Brights collection, and you've got four patterns. And of course I've chosen the brown for the suit part, and then I did a little bit of that burgundy for the tie. And I definitely recommend using some of the multi-purpose glue, because then you can kind of slide them around and into position a little bit easier. So let's get these. Oh, a little tip with this one. If you're using up some scraps, as I showed you with this one over here, when you run it through, it does come out as one piece. But if you're using some scraps and it doesn't quite fit, so this wasn't quite wide enough. So what I did is I just took that die and I just ran it on the side of it, on both ends. So I just run it through a couple times. I did my pocket in the middle there just to use up some of my scraps because I wanted this one to have a solid lapel. So we're going to use that one on here. And since we're going to piece it together anyway, and it's probably going to be a little bit easier to maneuver that. So let's get this piece on first. Let's not lose our button. There we go. Okay, so let's get a little bit of glue. I want to put all the way around like that. But I'm not going to put any glue here so I can tuck that tie under. Okay, so let's line that up. And because this is that liquid glue, it's not going to dry right away. You're going to be able to slide that into place just a little bit. There we go. Now, since I didn't put any glue down here, I'm going to be able to tuck in my tie like that. So let's get a little bit of glue on there. And I'm going to keep this handy right here so I know how far up my tie needs to go. So let's get that inside. Here we go. There. And we're probably going to need to slide that down a little bit more. So I'm going to test that like that. I want to come, I think I came down a little bit too far, so let's try to move that up a little bit. Center that. There we go. Okay, so now that's in position. Okay, so let's finish that lapel. We're going to put these little pieces on. There we go. Let's do that. And since they're in two pieces, it'll be super easy to get on there. And since I chose to use a solid color of the espresso lapel, will show up quite nicely against the pattern, so I'm not even going to bother using dimensionals for that. You could. I think I will come back though to one of those cards. Let me get this on first. A little tip with, if you do want to use the dimensionals, when you're using, let's come back to this one right here. So if you did want to put your dimensionals under that part right here, you're going to take some of your liquid glue and you're just going to run a line on the inside of that lapel and then put a little piece of your dimensionals. You can kind of see those in there like that. So just here, and then the bead of the liquid glue here, and just make sure you kind of pinch that until it dries a little bit. But this one I just glued straight down. And then we're going to take this one, we are going to do a little bit of dimensionals here. We're going to take one for, I've got a half of one here. We're going to put one under the knot part of this tie, just to get a little bit of dimension for that. We'll put that right here. And then we're going to take our collar and put a dimensional on each side of those. And that does come out as one piece, and it's super easy to pull that apart, so be very careful. We're going to line that up with the top part of our card. Super cute. And then we'll add a pocket. I think we'll do a dimensional with that one as well. Let's do a couple of them, just to make sure. There we go. for our little pocket. And we're going to put that one up here. There. Very cute. I kind of like it in the brown. And with all of these, oh, we almost forgot our little button. And I'm going to use just a little bit, just a tiny bit of that liquid glue, and I'm going to use the little putty end of my Take Your Pick tool just to help me hold that till I get that button down there. I knew I was going to forget that little guy. Very cute. So with all of these, I did a white shirt. So whatever my card base was that I was going to put on, I did a white card base, and then I cut out the white collar to go with that. For this one, I used the Sahara Sand card base, and then I just cut out the little collar to go with that, and the little tie pieces. Really cute. Well, that is my fun little masculine tie cards today, suit and ties. Thanks so much for joining me. Be sure to hit that bell button so you don't miss a video, and give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.